Hello there, and welcome back to another Wingspan video. Today, looks like we are doing a three-person game. Looks like we are going second. Let's see here. So the Northern Mockingbird, that's nice, just to be able to repeat any nice, or any power we really want to. It depends on what our starting hand is, depending on if we want it. Mistletoe Bird, it's a somewhat hard card to play, and the effect isn't that good, so I'm not too interested in it. And then the Brown Falcon is average. Smew, that's good to just put your forest ahead one, or your, wetlands ahead by one, and you also get to draw 2 extra cards while looking at 4 of them total. White-faced Heron, it's an engine type bird. I don't think it's good early on. Cowbird, it's pretty nice, especially if I can pair it with a bowl nest, which the hummingbird allows me to do. So maybe I might go with this as my starting combo. I might also pick up the Smew just for its utility. The other thing you could also consider, however, is the white-faced heron and the American white pelican do combo with each other, where you can convert one of your fish into an extra point by saving it to discard to the white pelican. That is one thing you can do. I think just for the interest of doing something different, that is what I'm going to end up doing. So I'm taking 4 cards. The reason why I'm taking the hummingbird is because it's a 1 cost and I get extra food. It might not pay for any of the other birds specifically, but I can have a better chance of gaining food that pays for a different bird. For example, the northern mockingbird might be useful now. And let's see here. Don't really have much for bird bander, but food web expert is so hard. I at least have 1 card for bird bander, however, and then the northern mockingbird can also help out with this. I'm not going to stress too much about picking up the card. It would be nice if I did get it, but I don't need repeats too much. Also, the starting being a no goal round 1 means we get 3 extra actions this turn, or 3 extra actions this entire game. So that makes me want to lean more towards a what's it called? Oh, an engine-based strategy. Let's see here. Otherwise, my next 2 turns is going to be gaining food, playing the cowbird, try and get some eggs off of my opponent, and then just build up a wetland engine. Now, let's see here. For engine-based strategies, something to keep in mind is that basically any card that you play that's not inside the engine needs to serve some sort of purpose that helps you build your engine. For example, the hummingbird. When I take food, I get an extra food. The cowbird is just going to passively give me eggs, so hopefully playing this will save me a turn. If it gets me 4 eggs, it will save me a turn, but if it gives me 2 eggs, it's neutral in turn count. Well, not necessarily neutral. You are spending essentially an extra food to lay the eggs, but well, no, never mind. You pay 2 food, and then you get to lay 2 eggs right away, or 2 eggs actually from that point forward without having to spend any food. And if you do this 3 times, you get the 6 total eggs. You don't have to pay 1 extra food to get 2 eggs for the first column effect. And here, I am going to go for the Northern Mockingbird just for an engine strategy. Purely because repeat a power, if I have any good power gaining cards. That would be nice to have. And also, it can be paid for with a berry. Golden Oriole, that's another card I am tempted to play just to try and get some more food off of my opponents. And yeah, it looks like I can play it. Let's see what the food is looking like for everyone else. Not too much. Someone picks up the woodpecker. Would I be happy with that? Yes, if I play the Oriole, I would be. The downside of playing the Oriole, however, it does cost an extra egg. Looks like people have food right now, so I'm not going to stress about playing the card. Otherwise, my next turn is going to look like just trying to gain food, trying to play... I want the white pelican to be played first, just because that lines up with the heron's activation, as I want the heron to be activated first. What nest type is my... Okay, cool. Don't have to stress about that. Let's see here. I was worried that someone would lay an egg and then I couldn't lay one because I would run out of capacity. However, due to how things lined up, it looks like I am set. Yeah, I'm set to just do nothing in terms of eggs and be able to lay all 6 I need. Anyways, we'll use the berries as that is the thing we have most of, and probably wetland birds are not going to need it. I don't mind that no one picked up the woodpecker just because I'm unlikely to have a cavity nest that can utilize the effect. Nothing I want to play down there. However, there are things up here I want to play. I'm just going for nectar just so I can play more cards. One other thing that's nice about the hummingbird is the extra berries can be used to reset the bird tray, so I can look at extra cards. And I can also use the hummingbird and white heron to gain more food. For setting up engines, my recommendation is to not discard resources for your to your engine pieces to score points, just because you want to be playing or getting your engine fully set up by the end of round 2. After that, you just keep using it, and then you win from there. American Coot, that is nice. Yeah, I will discard a card to gain an extra food. So American Coot, that's an extra point. Technically, the Kingfisher is an engine card. I don't think it's worth it. Again, I want to save my food. Going for the heron again. Don't want to cash anything. I want to keep my food. Now, one issue I do have is I don't really have a lot of, like, gain a ton of points cards. So, while I am fine with playing the American Coot, I kind of want to dig a bit deeper and try to get something more worthwhile. None of those are good. Skip. Baby Heron again. Okay. Now, something I do want to point out is the chance that you do get a fish from the heron is 50% that you do actually get it. However, the actually expected amount of fish is 0.8 every time you activate it. So, for example, if I activated this heron 10 times, I would expect to get 10 fish from it. Anyways, Let's see here. I'm going to go for the extra 3 cards one more time before I switch off of this. None of these are too appealing. Morning Dove is just going to cap out. Same with the Killdeer. Come Nightingale doesn't do much for me. So I'm just going to dig deeper. Hopefully I get something. And do not tuck. Activate Heron again. Okay. So then, it looks like this is not going to be an ideal engine. I might have to try and squeeze that last card sometime during round 3. Let's see here. I'm going to gain cards first. Go discard a card for an extra fish. And let's see if we get something worthwhile. A second cowbird. Not too good. House Finch. It's fine. Oh, we might be able to play this. We just have to get an extra fish from somewhere. Hopefully one of our opponents is nice enough to give us that last fish. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep running this. Eventually, we'll get an egg from someone. There we go. Just barely in time. Okay, there we go. We have the engine. I'm not too excited about it. Right now, if you count up everything, we get 1, 2. I'm going to count the combination of this as 3. Just because half the time this actually no. It's not going to be 3. I think due to how these 3 birds are going to interact with each other is I'm going to purposely save all my fish and then discard it to the American Pelican. So this is going to become 1.6, so 2 plus 1.6 is just going to be 3.6 cards every time I run this. So realistically, I need to come up with decent cards that I can play. Hooded Crow is a little decent. I'm going to try and get rid of my wetland-only cards. Again, I'm not going to cash. I am, however, going to start using it on the Pelican. The other thing is, let's see here, Green's Auklet giving me fish is one benefit to this engine. There we go. I can get rid of my Kingfisher, gain a fish, and now these 2 cards together are going to give me 4 points on itself, so this is a 6-point turn. Rough is an 8-point card by itself, so I'll pick that up. I don't think I need the Cowbird at all. White Stork, too expensive. Little Gravy doesn't do much for me. Again, I'm just going to hold on to my fish. That way I can keep doing the American White Pelican, trying to get that as big as possible. Let's see, alright. I'm also 1 card away from Birdbander. Let's see here. Hooded Crow gets me there. So does the Ruff. So, Ruff is for sure a card I want to get played. This is a 5-point card on its own, but I don't think I need to worry about that. I think just digging for better cards is a decent enough task. Red-ringed parakeet. That is an interesting card. Again, we're going to hold on to that. Yeah, this is actually the first time I've actually used the American White Pelican in, like, a serious manner where I try to use it to give myself a bunch of points. So I think that makes this game a bit more unique. Rodent. Let's see here. I don't have any fish right now, so what I am going to do is I'm going to play the rough, pay the egg cost, and that way that gives green another turn to give me a fish, so when I run this engine again, I can do the double white pelican strategy without relying on heron RNG. Nectar, that might allow me to play an extra bird. Let's see here. So one other thing I should be looking at is if I want to play the hooded crow or griffin vulture. So to do that, I should look at my board, look at other people's boards. We want to look at specifically predator power. So I have one predator. That's not good. Green has 3, so that's going to be an extra 6 points. Red only has 1. So if I play the griffin vulture, I lose a point because I have to pay an egg cost for it, but in return I get 7, so this is a net 6-point play. I suppose I could do that just because right now this is 1.2 points, and then this, like, together is going to be 1.6 points. So this is 3.6 points that turn. Playing the Griffin Vulture is just much more efficient right now. Let's see here. The other thing I want to look at is if the Rose Ring Parakeet has any real value to playing it. Is it next player or previous player? There we go. Neighbors. Okay, so I can also target red. No one has any white birds. Okay. I guess that makes my job easy. With one food left to go, I could see if the hooded crow is any decent. Does anyone have, like, a grassland engine? Green kind of does. I'd at least get 4 extra points. So let's see here. The other thing I could do is try to compete for nectar. Can I get nectar? Okay. So I can spend 2 turns here getting around 7 points, or I could spend 2 turns gaining the food and then playing the, what's it called, hooded crow. That is net 5 plus however much I get from nectar, so I'm going from 2 points to 3. This is net 8. I am also taking points away from red, which is a benefit. I'll take the berry just to help me for the future. It might play the Rose Ring Parakeet. Assuming someone plays a white card. Normally white cards are better played near the end of the game. Cool, I get an extra egg. The other nice thing about this is I do get an extra... Okay, let's see here. Don't need you, don't need you, don't need you. Yeah, I don't need any of those birds below. Magpie Lark, not really too useful. Target green. And, oh, looks like both red and green are fine with it. I'll keep the Indian peafowl. Okay, any decent cards? No. Okay, still 7 points on its own. And then I expect that red and green are probably going to do something. It does also look like I'm winning on total bird cards, despite me going for an engine-based strategy. Something that I don't see every day. And from here, I'm just going to draw cards, try to get something. The two best cards I can see myself getting right now is the Bonali's Eagle or Eastern Eurasian Eagle. Both are very high point cards. Keep it because it's worthwhile to do that there. Again, the White Heron, that's on average 0.8 points. Something like the American Coot is a guaranteed point. So it's better to use the tuck a card, gain a card power in this case. Let's see here. With that said, there is some exceptions I want to point out, or at least one. There we go. I'm going to take this turn first, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. And use Harrier is not one of the cards I was looking for. Unfortunate. Again, take the guaranteed point. Okay. Anyways. So the Forced Owlet has essentially the same activated ability as the Purple Heron. And if you look down all the way at 3 rolls, you can see the expected value is 1.266 points. Meaning it is better on average to go use the Purple Heron compared to the American Coot or House Finch. Okay, and again, I am a little bit unfortunate here. I don't have too much room to do anything else. So I'm just going to keep going for points, or the most points I can go for in this specific turn. In fact, I wonder if eggs are going to be better. Yep, tuck behind those birds. House Crow, it's not worth it. I just don't have the food for it at all. Okay, so taking a quick look, it is probably better that I go for eggs at this point, ironically. Just because I get guaranteed 4 points there, while the expected points here is 1, 2, 3, 3.8. This is guaranteed 4. Doesn't really matter where I put the eggs. The cowbird doesn't have enough time for me to fill up my egg slots. Well, if I could get a multicolored bird at the end. Let's see here. Suppose I could do Indian peafowl. And if I can get 3 nectar, or heck, even 2 nectar, I tie. So if someone gives me nectar, I can beat them out on forest. If they don't, I at least tie. And I get fully upgraded bird bander. Also gives me 1 closer to beating out everyone else here. Which is surprising that I'm able to pull this off. Okay, where's the card? Also, by playing this on my last turn, I deny green the opportunity to gain... Well, actually... So if you did want to use it, using it later does help, as you deny the opponents less time to use the resource you give them. And then with cards like red, let's see here. Okay, so I'm going to opt not use that, just because I should not have that worm by the time it is actually given to me, or not. Sorry, I should not have the worm by the time the Shrike activates. Anyway, stack my cards, draw some cards. Target green. And target green again. Okay, so we did pretty well in Nectar. We did pretty well on end of round goals. That is quite surprising normally for engine builds, especially for a no goal round 1 for engine builds. You normally don't do that. So yeah, I am interested to see how well I did this run. My engine, of course, wasn't that amazing. So we'll see if I pulled through, or if I did not make it through this run. I am expected to fall a little bit behind, and then for the tuck card section, that's where I expect to fall ahead the most. Of course, green also had the Gala. Okay. Yeah, so 134 points. I think I pulled through pretty well. The white haze faced I tried to say both the birds at the same time. The American white pelican with the white-faced heron, that was a pretty good combo, it appears. Basically, I got to double the value I got from heron. It also was helpful that someone else was running the auklet, just to help me discard extra fish. And then I also kind of got a little lucky with green helping me out with 2 end-of-round cards as well. Cowbird, I think it was average with what it did. It allowed me to get eggs for my cards. Also surprised I managed to get Birdbander as well. So this was a very weird engine build. Which I'm kind of reluctant to call an engine build, but I did just want to run this a lot of my turn, so that is what I am going to call it. Anyways, if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below, and I wish you have a nice day. Take care.